In this video, I'm going to show you how to optimize your Google Ads search campaigns. Making the right optimizations really is the key to getting the best possible results from Google Ads, and I've seen many Google Ad campaigns go from unprofitable to massively successful using the optimization approach I'm about to show you. Okay, so when it comes to optimizing Google Ads search campaigns, there are 5 core areas that we look at, and we look at these in order. So I'm going to quickly run through what is 5 hour and then go through each one in a bit more detail. So we start with keywords, then we move on to the ads, then we've got the ad assets, what used to be called ad extensions. Then we do budget allocation, and then I want to talk about bidding strategy as the 5th one. So let's go ahead and start with keywords. What's our process for optimizing the keywords that we're targeting within our search campaigns? So you start by taking a look at your keywords and simply looking at performance. You absolutely want to make sure that you've got conversion tracking set up so you can see what is my cost per lead, what is my cost per sale, what is my cost per conversion, and if you can track your return on ad spend, those are the metrics that you want to use to assess performance. And then you simply want to pause the underperforming keywords and then potentially add new ones in to test against the ones that you know are performing better. I'll explain a little bit more about the adding new ones in a second, but let me just quickly show you what this would look like. So I've just gone here into one of our Google Ad campaigns, into an ad group and selected the keywords. You can see there's only 2 keywords actually in this ad group. And if you look at the relative performance of these 2 keywords, the keyword at the top has got a cost per conversion of $1.35. The keyword at the bottom here has a cost per conversion of $5.67. So we turned that keyword off. We paused it because it wasn't converting, it wasn't producing as good results as the top one. Even though actually for that second keyword, there's a lot more search volume and more money was spent on initially, but obviously we want to spend more budget on that top keyword because it is converting so much better. So we would come in and pause that keyword like we have done, and that's something you want to regularly do. Which keywords are producing significantly worse cost per conversions than others? Turn those off. Then the next step when it comes to optimizing your search campaigns and the keyword specifically is to take a look at your search terms report. So I've got another tab open with that already selected. The way you do that is you can just see on the left hand side, you come in, make sure you've got your campaign selected that you want to do this for, and then go into insights and reports and then click on search terms, and obviously make sure you've got the date range set to something that's relevant for your business given how long you've been running the campaign, etc., etc. And then in here, we can see all the searches, the Google searches that have caused our ads to be shown. And it's really important, particularly for beginner Google advertisers, to understand that there is a big difference between search terms and keywords. Often people start with Google Ads, they enter in their keywords, they think that ads will only show if people search for basically exactly that. And that's not true. Even, to be honest, if you use exact match, that's not completely true anymore. Your ads are going to be shown for searches that Google feels are relevant to your keywords, and what Google feels is relevant can be pretty broad, particularly if you use broad match. So it's really important to come in here into the search terms report and take a look at the searches that are causing your ads to be shown. Now I should warn you, if you haven't done this before, you're probably going to find some searches causing your ads to be shown that you're not happy about. So just sort of brace yourself for that. It can be frustrating because as Google advertising, you think, oh, am I really wasting money on this? Did I really pay for people to click when they search for that? They were never going to become a customer. Yes, that probably has happened if you haven't done this before, but that's why it's so important to come in here because we can look to address that. So this specific campaign, as an example, what we've got here is this was targeting people searching who already know me. So it's kind of like a branded search campaign. So there's lots of people that know my name and Ben Heath, but they might not know like the name of my company, and they might be looking for like my agency and things like that. So we've got all sorts of search terms in here, basically designed to make sure that when people are searching on Google for me and my agency and my business and they want to work with us and are done for your services or something like that, that they actually go ahead and find us. Now what that means is that these searches are actually a lot more accurate than a typical search campaign because they're already very focused in terms of what they're searching for. But you know, I use this as an example because it can, even with a campaign like this where you'd have thought the searches are going to basically all be correct, there are still some that slip through that aren't correct. If you've got a regular search campaign, the situation is going to be even worse. Okay, so obviously we've got here things like Heath Media, that's the name of my agency, Ben Heath, all absolutely fine. But if we scroll down, I just want to highlight a few different examples of ones that have come up that are not ones that we would actually want to go ahead and bid on. Okay, so this one here, for example, is Ben Heath Newbury. Now there is a interiors business in Newbury in the UK called Ben Heath. Nothing to do with me, nothing to do with us. That is not something that we want our ads to be showing up for. Therefore, we would take the word Newbury and we would add that to our negative keyword list. That is not something that we want our ads being shown for, because that person's not looking for us in the slightest. That's a waste of money. And if you're not familiar with negative keyword list, I'll include a link in the video description to another video that shows you exactly how to build out a negative keyword list and stuff like that. Okay. If we keep going down, we've got this one here called Ben Heath Vegas. Now, again, there is another Ben Heath that is a professional poker player. Again, nothing to do with me. That is another search term that we do not want our ads to be shown for. They're clearly looking for something else. So we would add in as a negative keyword Vegas and poker and some other related examples to that. So that's like a simple example to understand. Like I said, if you've got a search campaign that is more sort of product related or service related, like most businesses will, then you can expect to see more examples of searches that unfortunately cause your ads to be shown, cost you money, and they are not relevant to what it is that you sell. So you come in here, and that's the first thing you want to do, is make sure you remove or add in negative keywords for any search to come up. You think, oh, no, that's not right. I've got the context around that. Google hasn't. We need to go ahead and get rid of that one. Okay, so the next thing you want to do from within the search terms report, once you've added those ones you don't like into your negative keyword list, is to try and find keywords that you're not targeting that you could. So when you do that, you just go ahead and sort by conversion. So click on conversions again. You need to have conversions tracking set up to be able to do this. And then take a look at the keywords, the search terms that are in here that are generating conversions, but you aren't necessarily targeting specifically as a keyword. And there might be some really interesting options. There might be some phrasing, some ways of saying things that you thought, oh, I didn't think about that when I was setting up my keywords. Oh, that's really interesting. Well, you want to make a note of those, and you can go back into your campaign and add those specifically as keywords. That's often a good way to go, because that will often open your campaign up to more searches that are likely to convert, because there'll be more other searches sort of around that search term. And if you have it in a specific keyword, Google's able to sort of go a little bit broader and target around that a little bit better. So that is definitely worth doing. Looking at these search terms as well, you want to make a note of the ones that are getting good conversions, not just to add in for the purposes of creating new keywords. Like we said, you pause the underperformers, adding new ones. Well, this is where you find out which new ones to add in, but also for our next steps in terms of our optimization process as well. But before we get to that, I want to quickly let you know about our done for you Google Ads services. So if you've got Google Ad campaigns running, whether on the search network or other types of Google Ad campaigns, you're wondering how to optimize them, how to get the best results possible. Honestly, the easiest way is just to let my company do it for you. We can create, manage, and optimize your Google Ad campaigns for you. We can take all that workload off your hands, and we'll almost certainly get you better results than if you manage it yourself, because we do this all day, every day, hundreds of clients. We've spent tens of millions on the platform, and we really know what we're doing. If that sounds interesting, there is a link in the video description below. You can go ahead and click on that, come through to a page on our website where you can book in a free, no obligation call with one of my team members to find out more about how we are able to help. If that sounds good, go ahead and book a call, and hopefully we get a chance to work together. Okay, so we've talked about keywords and how to optimize those. Now we need to talk about optimizing ads and ad assets. Well, since the move to responsive search ads, we used to use expanded text ads and previously just text ads before that. The testing that we do in the ads themselves, as in testing one ad against another, is significantly reduced, because with responsive search ads, you add in lots of different headlines, lots of different descriptions and things like that, and sort of allow Google to test various options and work it all out. Now, because of that, a lot of Google advertisers just create a responsive search ad in each ad group and go, that'll do. Don't need to think about it anymore. And that's not the right way to go. You do want to be adjusting your ads. You do want, in particular, I think, to be adding in new options to test. Yes, you can remove ones that you no longer feel are relevant or you don't feel are performing as well. But the way you do that, and the perfect time to do that, and this is why this optimization process is in this order, is after you've been through and optimized your keywords and then been through your search terms report. And what you want to think about here is, when you were looking at your keyword performance, when you're looking at search terms report, are there phrases, are there words that you're using in your headlines, in your descriptions, and this applies to your ad assets, your ad extensions as well, right? In your call ad extensions, even potentially site extensions, although you often don't have as much leeway to change those, but all sorts of, ad assets and extensions that you can use, structured snippets, things like that. Are there certain words and keywords that aren't converting as well? Take those out. Pause those, get rid of them. They don't convert as well from a search standpoint. They probably won't convert as well as copy within your ads. And then on the other side of it, are there those search terms that you hadn't been targeting that actually are converting well? Look to add those in. What can you add in as as new headlines? What can you add in as new descriptions? What can you add in as new ad asset options? Now, because of the way responsive search ads work, where Google will test lots of options for you, there's not a huge amount to lose by adding in new options based on stuff that you see. If it doesn't perform as well, Google will work that out pretty quickly and won't run with those options. They'll run with other options. But you might find that some of the stuff you find that you can then add into your ads, add into your headlines, add into your descriptions, add into your ad assets, that those actually then convert better and really well. And that can make a big difference to your campaign, particularly as you go through that search terms report multiple times. This is something that we typically recommend businesses do fairly regularly. Exactly how often will depend on your business, right? Like some businesses are going to generate 1,000 clicks a day, others are going to generate 5 clicks a day. How often do you need to go through your search terms report? Well, a lot more often if you're generating more clicks. But it's something you do want to do regularly. It needs to be part of your regular optimization process. And when you do that, you get a sense and a feel for this type of language does really well for us from a user search standpoint. This type of language doesn't do as well for us. Those people don't tend to convert as well. And then you want to adjust your ads and your copy in your ads accordingly. So something to think about there. And that's how we go through optimizing the ads and the assets. Just after we've done a search terms report, it's the perfect time to do it. Next, we've got budget allocation. So if you've got multiple campaigns running, let's say you've got them for different offers or different product ranges or different services and things like that, it's absolutely fine, and something you want to do is reallocate budget to the best performing elements. And I see a lot of advertisers not do this. They think, well, I've got the 4 services, I need to spend an equal amount advertising each one of those 4. No, you don't. That's not true at all. You can absolutely spend all of your budget on one service if that converts way better and is much more profitable when it comes to running Google ad campaigns. You could have a split of 70% in one, 10% in the other 3. You could absolutely change that. Don't worry about that from a Google ad standpoint. Now, I know, of course, there may well be stock considerations. If you're selling physical products, you're thinking, well, I need to advertise, these products to some extent because I've got stock to sell. Likewise with services, if you've got capacity and staff members thinking, well, I can't have these people not doing anything. But just be aware that those considerations should be relatively temporary. So let's say it's a stock issue, and you've got to advertise these products even though they don't sell as well, they don't convert as well because you've got stock. Well, just make sure that you factor that into when you next order new stock, right? Order more of the stuff that sells easily and sells well, and basically allocate more budget, therefore, to the elements that do perform well. Absolutely fine. We've come into Google Ad accounts before for people who've become clients, and one of the big optimizations we can make early on is we go, you're spending quite a bit of money on this. It's not really working that well. Why don't we just put that budget here? And it's a super simple fix that can make a massive difference to your results. So definitely look to redistribute budget. And again, this is something you want to do fairly regularly. You don't want to be changing budget as often as, say, you are in the search terms report. But if you can review this at least once a month, for many advertisers, it might be more like once a week. Again, if you're doing much larger volumes, but once a month would be probably a good standard. And think about, where can we make our money go further? We can get our return on ad spend better, and that's going to make our campaigns more profitable, our business more profitable, and go through and do that process. And then the next thing to optimize is bidding strategy. Now, this is not something you need to optimize regularly, but you do need to get it right. You do need to make sure that it is optimized for what it is that you're looking to achieve. And so many Google advertisers use the wrong bidding strategy, and it absolutely ruins their results because it is one of the single most important things in optimization, particularly the optimization that Google does for you. They have to know what it is you want. They have to be going for that specifically. So if you haven't already, I'd strongly recommend you check out this video. In it, I walk you through the bidding strategy options and explain which ones you should be using and when, depending on your business and depending on what it is that you are actually advertising with your Google Ads. Strongly recommend you go ahead and give it a watch. It's one of the most important videos that I've ever created, and it's right here.